It's time to take out to a new level. So I said today in my video that these Americans, ever since I came back from Egypt, ever since I came back from Spain, I've been noticing that these Americans are real scary on many levels. Now, the first thing is that they confuse signs of respect for a sign of submission, as if someone has to submit to them. When you show them a sign of respect, what they'll often do is feel as if they've gotten over on you and feel as if they were entitled to the space that you've allowed them. Why your world is yours. Many nuances to this. There's no DEEN and there's no ADHAB. These people have no DEEN and these people have no ADHAB. My level of divine perception allows me to come to these exact conclusions without having to go through much scrambling about for thinking. Why your world is yours. So let's recap. I need to take y'all to a new level. Ever since I came back from Spain and Egypt, I've been studying these Americans and their ways, and they're very scary. Scary meaning these people are sus as fuck. They confuse signs of respect for signs of submission. And when you show them a sign of courteous respect, they'll often feel as if they've gotten over on you because they're really self-absorbed and hurt souls. Now, my level of divine perception has allowed me to arrive at immediate intuitive conclusions. And that intuitive conclusion is that it is because these individuals do not have any DEEN and ultimately they have no ADHAB. Now, for the individuals who do not speak Arabic, DEEN is a word to relate to the way. It is a word that you can say is religion, but it's less about religion. It's about your way. They have no particular way. They have no particular faith system, way of being. Keep it at way of being. Don't go into faith. Don't go into religion. They have no way. And then secondly, they have no ADHAB. ADHAB is the word for manners in Arabic. So with DEEN, with a way, with a code of some way, of some conduct, comes some ethic, comes some mannerisms and some codes. These individuals have no code and they have no way. They are wayward individuals with poor manners. Why your world is yours. So when you realize a lot of people on this planet have no way and they're very wretched souls, you realize how poor they are spiritually. Now, I also realized, and I said in the video this morning, a lot of people have Nafs and kibr. Nafs is the word for self. Nafsak is yourself. Nafsi is myself. So now when you get into understanding even what the term psychology is in Arabic, ilm and nafs, ilm and nafs meaning ilm meaning knowledge, nafs meaning self, knowledge of self. So when you see that psychology is not necessarily psychology, the study of the mind, it's the study of the self in Arabic. Now, because I have this level of comprehension in two different languages, in two different spheres, this depth of awareness in the knowledge base of the theological context, I can give you an exegetical explanation of the sociological context that creates. Now let's dig deeper. Individuals are walking this planet with no DEEN and no ADHAB. And this is creating a lot of effects. Now, when I say nafs, I need to take y'all to a new level as well. In Islam, in Islamic or Arabic science, let's call it Arabic science because it's really in the semantics and the linguistics, you will find that there are three particular levels of self, three types of nafs. There's nafs al-amara, there's nafs al-awama, and there's nafs al-muttama'ina, right? I might have pronounced muttama'ina a little bit wrong. You have to get into the tafsir about things. Why your world is yours, the tajweed about things. Why your world is yours. So there's nafs al-amara, which is the lowest level of nafs. It is the violent, it is the wretched, it is the lustful, it is the sinful. It is the lowest level of self. Then you have nafs al-awama, mentioned in Surah Al-Qiyamah in the second verse of, or the second ayah of the verse. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بنفس العوامة أيحسب الإنسان ألا نجمع عظام بلا قادرين على أن نسوي بنانا بل يريد الإنسان ليفجر أمامه يسأل أيان يوم القيامة. Right? Nafs al-awama. Nafs al-awama is when you elevate beyond that low level self-absorbed wayward self and you begin to have a conscience. It is the regretful self. It is the self-reproaching self. It is the self that realizes its wrongs. And then you have nafs al-muttama'ina, which is the state of being that I've attained, and everybody can see it. It is the content soul. It is the soul that no longer has low frequency desires, doesn't have tendencies of lust, and it has purified itself and achieved a level of purification and a level of contentment and a statehood which is seldom attained unless you actually go through the flames of attainment. Whatever you are, your world is yours. So the point of this message is there are many different angles that I'm delivering to you. First, as an individual, you must establish some level of code, some level of ethics, some level of conduct, some way for yourself in a world of wayward individuals who have no way, who have no deen. Understand that even in the hood, individuals who have been in contact or in proximity with individuals who have been Muslim, they say this person is on their deen, this person is not on their deen. Oh, he's really on his deen. I see you. You really on your deen. You're really on your way. You're really on your path. You're really on the sirat al-mustaqim. Sirat, the straight and narrow path. Al-mustaqim, the straight and narrow. Sirat al-mustaqim, the path that is straight and narrow. The path of infinite gains and zero losses. The correct way. Whatever you are, your world is yours. So once you recognize that these individuals are walking this planet self-absorbed, you start to feel really bad for them because they're living in a state of poorness, a level of poverty of the soul, of the mind, of the being. And you can't condemn them, although very contemptible, you can't condemn them for they don't know. But a lot of people are given the opportunity to know and to grow and choose to not do so. So in that instance, you have to recognize that then they are to be held accountable for their willful ignorance, for their willful belligerence, for their willful indignance. Understand that. Now, as we proceed, we need to understand that also, when you're an individual who has a connection, who has haqq, H-A-Q-Q, which is truth, who understands and comprehends and transcends living on the ard. Al-ard, as-samawati wal-ard. As-samawati are the heavens. Al-ard is the earth or the turf or the ground or the root. Those who are masters of the comprehension of as-samawati will be masters of the earth, of the ard. But those who only have consciousness of al-ard without the samawati will be bound to this plane in a way that they will be disconnected. You can look at these individuals and see that they have their tether cut. When an individual like myself walks, you can see that there's an invisible beam of energy channeling through my cranium connected to the source. This is when you have taqwa. Taqwa, what is taqwa? Taqwa is God consciousness, Allah consciousness. Consciousness of the creator of all creations as the source of all creation and the source of your being and the emanator of your emanation self. Tawheed is what Nabi Isa sallallahu alayhi wasallam was bringing to the earth and bringing to the people, and that was his message and his risala from as a Rasul. What is Tawheed? It is Christ consciousness. It is I and my Father are one. The creator and the creation are one. The willer and the willed are one. There is no separation between source and that which has emanated from source, the emanator and the emanation. Read the best kept secret and it'll catch you up to speed on the details and the facts necessary to bolster your comprehension and your realization of these superior facts. Whatever you are, your world is yours. This shit ain't never been about no fitness. They ain't never been about no muscles. And a lot of these individuals will never catch up to even be able to keep up with how far ahead and advanced I am in this domain. This ain't your lane. Whatever you are, your world is yours. And I'm willing to give anybody the microphone if you really have anything worth hearing or saying. But in the meantime, a lot of y'all got to step aside and realize this ain't your bag, homie. You feel me? Whatever you are, your world is yours. Consider vibrations raised. It all started with recognizing, since I've arrived back in the States, that this is a deenless land. And a lot of people, men and women, are living with no deen. And we've come to the conclusion that deen doesn't mean religion. It just means the way, a way. If you're Buddhist, you have a deen. If you are Christian, you have deen. If you are even Hindu, you have deen. Everybody, all cultures have had some type of formulation of a deen. So understand that you have to be an individual of deen. Now, when it comes to understanding this, that, and the fourth, cross-referencing different deens, different philosophies, different systems, you know, that's where humans and their poor exegesis enters the game. Not everybody has been bestowed the favor of the creator of all creations, of the capacity, of the superior perception, superior intellection, and superior cognition to be a qualified processor of these informations to come to conclusions that are clear, concise, and non-erroneous. Everybody does not have that capacity. So let the ones who do execute their executive function in these domains, and you stay in your lane. There are a lot of wannabes. There are a lot of charlatans. There are a lot of weirdos who just want to have a fucking mouthpiece. Astaghfirullah. We not that. We are the personifications, the embodiments, the realizations, and the actualizations of that which needed to be and that which now is. Whatever you are, your world is yours. Came back, realized in very multiple interactions, you give people the right of way, they feel like they got over on you. And my mother told me that first week back too. She was like, yeah, they feel like, and now I peep it. And ultimately, what you also have to recognize is that aside from them taking these signs of respect as signs of submission, it also goes back into there's no salam, there's no gesture of peace. So when I say these Americans are scary, it's because they're very fearful beings. As they see you oncoming, the first thought is of their own safety and self-concern. It's very readable when you get to a level of energetic awareness, emotional intelligence, call it that if you will. But they're very scary. They're in fear as everything approaches them. And everybody moves as if they're the toughest thing in the world. And that they putting on this facade. And it's because also, as a byproduct of no deen, and as a byproduct of no adab, there's no formal salutation. When you go into any Muslim country, people say, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Peace be with you. Or they could just walk in a room and say salam, peace. That breaks the ice. That breaks the tension. In a world where there is no deen, in a society where there's no deen and there's no adab, and there's no formal salutation to break the neurotic tension that comes with the suspicions that people project on the next person, there's so much tension in society because everybody is so concerned for their own safety in regard to the next person, because there's no deen, there's no way, and there's no adab, there's no manners, there's no formal salutation to confer an absence of malicious intent. So now you live in a society with the ramifications of all of these absent institutions for the solidification of the refinement and cultivation of an individual soul to the point, the culminative point of being able to resonate in a peaceful state. Consider the vibrations raised. Take notes on this video. Get on the program. Come in with questions. BT is nothing. Basic training is nothing. PT is nothing. 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, 100 dips minimum. If you can't do that now, we work you up to that. But all of my people, I'm training people in the civilian world to be able to, at least, if you need to go to the army, you're not going to walk in there and be one of these day room dummy motherfuckers. And if you ever have to do a bid, you're not going to have to go in and catch up. What? No, I'm already on timing. Fuck is wrong with people? Y'all not ready. So all my people prepared on all levels. Superior cognition. We stay sober. I just broke that down in the video meeting yesterday. We know why we stay sober. Get in the meetings and you'll get access to that. Superior cognition, superior physiques, superior comprehension, and superior existential, material, financial competence. We are masters of samawati and masters of al-ard. Most of you al-abd, al-ard, abd, al-ard, slaves of the earth, let alone masters of samawat. How that work? Consider the vibrations raised. We are in the dunya, not of it. Masters of the dunya, not mastered by it. Masters of al-ard, not mastered by it. The richness and the complexity behind this vessel, that is this soul, is what you want access to. Consider the vibrations raised. Watch all of these fitness influencers and all that. They smoke behind closed doors. They drink behind closed doors. They know nothing. They can't take you to the spaces of meta-humanization that I could take you to. And it's very self-evident. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution. Self-mastery is the first success. Existential mastery is the ultimate success. Start out basic. Wake up. Hit your basic training. Eat sensibly and accordingly. Mitigate your fleshly desires, your corporeal desires. And have the space to contemplate the matters and subjects of existence. Keep your curiosity at a peak. Evolution, only solution. Sober, fit, enlightened, and rich. Nafs al-amara, nafs al-awama, nafs al-mutama'ina. Whatever you are, your world is yours. Consider the vibrations raised.